So hello everyone, in this video we'll be creating our to-do list navigation bar. So let me just log in here and show you. So here I'll be creating a login bar in which we'll be modifying the options which are on the right side. So let's customize our navigation bar in here. So basically we have navigation bar in our components folder. So before that, let me just create a utility function, which is, let's say, get user.js. Now this function, what it will do is it will let me just name it get user details. It will grab data from the local storage. So I'll be getting the data. Let me just name it as user, and I'll be getting data from local storage. So I'll be using local storage dot get item, and inside that I can specify basically the key. So remember we had the key, this was the key to do app user, and as I told you that this is basically a string in the local storage. It is stored as a string, so we have to convert it to a JSON format. So we'll be using json.parse method to convert a stringified object to an actual object basically. Then we'll be returning this user. So this is it that we have to do. So I wouldn't have to write this again and again. Wherever I will be needing this portion of code, I'll be calling this function. So now I'll go inside this navbar.jsx, and first of all I'll be creating a simple user here, and I'll be creating it as a state, use state, and then that's it. Then I'll be going inside use effect, and inside use effect I'll be checking on the first mount that whether I have any user or not. So I'll be grabbing the user from the local storage with the help of that method. So I'll be using get user details, and I'll be invoking that function get user details, and then I can basically set the user, set user details. So that's it. So it will be done, and then I will be checking whether this user is there or not, and I'll be making that link here. So first of all let me just, okay, it should be in a new line. So if it will be there, so I'll be creating a simple nav, and in here it will be to do list, and active will be my task, and I'll name it as my task. Okay, so yeah, so this is one part we did. Now I have to invoke it in the to-do list page. So I will be calling this in this page basically. So I'll be calling nav bar, and I'll be passing active here. In this I'll be passing my task as the active option in the navigation. You can see we have this my task, and it is active. Now what I have to do is I don't need this thing, login and register. When the user is logged in, so we don't need to show user login and register options. So what I will do is in the nav bar I'll be making it in a check, like let's say if the user is there then you have to do this one, and if it is not there so you have to do this one. Let me just do it one more time. Okay, now I can go inside the other code of navigation and I can copy this portion, and I'll be making you understand what it is basically. So I'm using drop down. Basically drop down is basically from the uh, and design control space, and then I can import it. For the items, I'll be creating items at the top. So item is basically the drop down. Let me just copy it. Okay, so it is an array of object with the key and a label. And I can also import the image. I'll be making you understand about that. Just let me just call that assets, and then we have, I think the name of that is login. Yeah, so login dot png, so that will be our avatar. So basically this drop down allows us to create a simple drop down in the navigation. So we can create a drop down with some options, and the options or the drop down options will be inside this menu prop. So in this menu prop we pass an array. Basically in the array we specify how many drop downs we want. So in my case I want only one drop down, so I'm providing the key for that drop down. And the label, in this label I can specify any kind of HTML tag here, and I'll be creating a handle logout function as well. Don't worry, we just create it, handle logout. So logout, and yeah, so this will allow me to create a simple drop down. So let me just show you that. You can see we have it. So this drop down option is basically this item. So in this item, how many, if I provide one more, let's say, and if I change the key, and in the label I can provide any kind of HTML element that I want to show in the drop down. You can see we have two navigation now, or two drop down option now. So this is basically the case, and that items we provide in the drop down in the menu prop. So all this is basically from the and design. So it is their methodology. You can also check more details on their documentation page, and we can specify the placement of this, whether you want it to be in the bottom, the drop down you want to be in the bottom or the right side, on the top side, wherever. And this arrow means you want this arrow, this little arrow you see here. So this arrow will be also available if you want that. So basically it is for that. Let me just remove it. I don't need the second output. Yeah, now that is it. And yeah, so if the user is not so if the user is logged in, so it will show this, otherwise it will show the drop down. And inside that, inside the drop down component, I'm wrapping a simple div in which I have given a class, and the style is already created. So in the app.css, it is the styling for this, you will find that. And I'm providing one image, which is basically this image. And after that we have this a span element, and inside that span I'm checking if the user has a first name, then you have to check or greet him with his first name. And I'm also checking the last name. If it is there, then it will append that, otherwise it will only give the first name. And then after that, if if user doesn't have any first name while registering with our website, so he will be greeted with his username which he put inside the register form. So this was it, and let me just complete this logout as well. So the logout is very simple. I can just remove the local storage, remove item, and I can remove the to do app user, and I can navigate the user. So that I have to create, remember, with the help of use navigate, and I can navigate the user to login screen. Let me just create the navigate object with the help of use navigate. now it will work. So if I go to that, so if I click on logout, so you can see I'm redirected to this login screen, and if I see the local storage, that will also be gone. In the application, you can see we don't have any to do app user. So it was for the previous website, remember that. So I also had the other website which I shown you in the app preview, right? It is for that. So we named our key to be to do app user. If I log in again, so that will be available to me. So if I go and check again, you can see we have to do app user. So this will not be available if I click on logout. You can see it is removed. So this is basically the navigation functionality we did in this video. In the next video, we'll be working on the to-do list part. Thank you for watching. Let's meet in the next video.